We shall. Hi YouTube, how you doing? Hi Facebook, how you doing? Corinne Clapham here. Happy Halloween, y'all. Happy Halloween. Happy Samhain. Happy Hallow Eve. Happy Eve before All Saints Day. This year is definitely a lot different for all of us and how we're celebrating, I can assume. I keep even forgetting it's Halloween and that we usually go out and dress up and party and all that stuff. This year, obviously with the whole COVID and the rules that they have, and only a certain amount of groups, it's just not the same. But also, I've been looking at this a lot more. I've just been a lot more connected spiritually to what this event is, what this holiday is. And my reason for coming on here is I actually want to talk about patterns, because this is a big thing that we talked about and we worked through some of them during the full moon awakening, although that was specifically more geared towards the patterns that we have had playing out from the ancestral lineage that has been passed down in generations, and that has been in our blueprint, and releasing and clearing that. Side note, if you were not on live for the full moon awakening, you can still get in on it before 8 p.m. Eastern. You can just send me a message, or I'll try and put the link in the comments. But what prompted me to come on here is I noticed another pattern. I noticed myself going in another pattern. And so once we have the awareness, that's probably the most amazing gift, because from there, that's when we can make the conscious choice to either change or stay the same. And I realized the pattern that I caught myself in, there's two patterns I'm getting out of the loop of. One, I decided to do a water fast today. It's my first time doing a water fast. I've been feeling, actually for quite some time, I've been wanting to do a water fast. This is definitely not me telling you to do one. I'm just talking about my experience. And if you do choose to do one, definitely do your own research with that one, and, chat with your doctor and all that stuff that we usually have to say, because I'm not a doctor. But anyways, I just want to share my experience and what's going on with this. So I decided to do a water fast. I just been feeling like my body needs a reset, and I've been feeling it for quite some time. And it was very prominent. I do it before we go into November. I don't know why. I've just been feeling that. Plus, we have the full moon today, and it just kind of really marks a big. Just going into the next moon phase, I just want to be more. I want my body like functioning more better, I guess you could say. And so over time, if you think about the amount of processed foods that we eat, and alcohol and all these other things that different people indulge in, and I feel like, especially with this whole COVID and all these lockdowns and this and that, I feel like everybody has at least had one period where they probably ate a little bit more than usual, or indulged in drinking or other things a little bit more than usual. So anyways, I've been just feeling like I want a reset. Like, I feel like I want my digestive system and everything to be just reset. You know what I mean? Our immune system, everything. So I've been doing this water fast today, and I actually wanted to come on here and talk about that, because I'm trying to make more of an effort to share more things, because I find when people share things, it can really help us when we're moving and shifting through things, or sometimes it can give us ideas, or it can help us with things. And so I was thinking I want to come on here and talk about it, but then I had this voice, this old pattern running through that was like, I don't want to say anything until tomorrow. I don't want to say anything until I've completed the water fast, because and then, so when we catch ourselves with this, it's like, okay, let's go a little deeper. Okay, so why is that? And I know I do this. I do this with things. I don't like to talk about things that I'm doing, if I'm taking a course, if I'm doing this, or if I'm doing that, until I've done it, because there's this fear that if I tell people I'm doing things, and if I don't end up following through with it, then I'm going to have to, like, not that anybody even cares if I'm going to follow through with it or not, but for us, our mind and our ego it's a big deal. It doesn't want to feel that pressure. And I remember distinctly one of my birthdays many years ago, I never really had a fear of heights, and then I started developing this fear of heights because I had really vivid nightmares of me falling. And so um, I developed this fear, and then around this time, I ended up becoming a flight attendant. And really, the reason I even applied to that was so I could be down south during the winter times, mostly traveling. But when I actually got the position, I got hired after the pretty tedious interview process. I was like, shit, okay, this is gonna be a really interesting way to get over my fear of heights. And of course, during that time, I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't tell my coworkers. Certainly couldn't tell the passengers that. The last thing they're relying on you, right, to hold down the fort. So, um, anyways, after a couple of years, it helped a little bit with the fear of heights, but not completely. And so it was coming up to my birthday, and I decided like the night before or something, I want to go skydiving. I'm like, I want to go skydiving. I want to see if this is just gonna like really nip this whole fear of heights in the butt. And I didn't tell anybody. I told one person, that was it, and that was to see if he wanted to go with me, which he didn't. And understandably so, it was last minute and people have to work. But I decided to go, and I didn't tell anybody. And I remember even being at the skydiving place and was letting them know, I'm like, yeah, no one knows I'm here. And it was just, the thing is, I didn't want to tell anybody, because what if I wanted to back out? What if I didn't follow through with it? I didn't want to have to live with having to people being like, oh, how did it go? How was the skydiving? You're like, oh, I didn't end up going. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing how I felt with this water fast. Internally, in the mind and the ego, I didn't want to say anything about it, because what if I don't follow through with it? What if I decide to eat a burger tonight, which I'm not going to? But there was that underlining thought process. And the thing is how we do one thing, we tend to do a lot of things. And I already know that's a pattern. I already know there's this underlying fear of saying something that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fully commit to or fulfill, because I'm still working through that. In that case, is the fear of heights. In this case, it's like, now I'm working through not eating for a day, which, doesn't sound like super hard, but I love food. I actually really love food. So I wanted to come on here and just share that, because right now, especially with Mercury in retrograde, we have a couple of retrogrades, we're reflecting on a lot of things. A lot of things are coming up. We have the full moon, and it's pretty potent. And so it's going to shine the light on a lot of stuff that we've been doing that probably isn't the healthiest. And this is an opportunity to change it. And so this is where the pivot moment happens. This is how we break habits. This is how we break patterns. The only way to do it is literally to start making a different conscious choice. And with that choice, making a conscious, different action than what we're used to. And so I'm finding myself, even around this time, I'm thinking more about food. I'm thinking more about Wendy's in particular, because I really like their junior bacon cheeseburger and all these things. And I was like, wow, this is like really creeping up pretty hard right now. But what I realized is this is the time that I'm usually eating dinner. I can go until 12 usually. I usually don't eat until like 12 p.m. most days. If I'm hungry, I will eat. It's not that I starve myself. It's just most days I don't feel hungry and I'm busy, and then I don't eat until later. So this usually ends up being around the time or late afternoon. And so we have to recognize, if we're trying to break a pattern or a habit, and if we get these moments where we're getting tested a little bit, like it feels more challenging, check in. Maybe that's a time when you're usually making that choice that you've been so used to making that choice, even if it was unhealthy for so long. And so now this is what you have to remember during this moment. Yes, it's so easy. It's so easy for us to go that same direction we always went. It was easy. It was comfortable. That's why we did it for so long. And this is why it's a little bit trickier to shift and change it, but with the time we can. But this is the absolute pivot moment when we want to go back to that comfort zone. this is the moment we either slip back into that and continue living the same life with the same, what's the word I'm looking for? Same results, or we can overcome it and we start taking a new path. And it might be a little bit foreign taking that new path for the first couple times, but eventually, as we start to do it, that will become the new habit and the new pattern, should you choose to allow it to be. It's the same thing with brushing our teeth. We don't even think about, most people brush their teeth every day. And for those of us who do every day, it's a non-negotiable. We just do it. You get up, you wash your face, you brush your teeth. We do it every day. And so that probably took time, though, for us to do that. And there's still moments where we might be like, oh, I'm too tired or this and that right now, but we always end up doing it. But that took time for that to be ingrained in a normal pattern. And so it's the same thing with this. So what patterns, what habits are coming up for you? What is it that you want to shift and change? What are those pivotal moments? And if you want to dig in even deeper and talk about the ancestral patterns and traumas and fears that have embedded in the blueprint, which I feel and I know is 100% possible to reverse that, you can connect with me, or I'll put in the link below, the full moon awakening, which you can still get in on. It's Saturday, October 31st. And there's so much that we packed in there. There's also EFT. There was a grounding meditation. There was protection meditation. I did some channeling for those who are on the live from their ancestors for healing, which anybody who's going to be gravitated to join this event, whatever, even if they didn't get a personalized channeled message, I will guarantee you I'm not going to get a guarantee. Let me take that back. I don't like to guarantee anything, but chances are, if someone is drawn to it, there's going to be a message in there that's going to resonate with them as well. And then we also have a Tao blessing. It was really like action packed in it. And so the link will probably only be good until 8:00 for you to get in on it. However, the replay, you have till a week to do it as many times as you want. But I'm going to extend it probably till Sunday. And if that's the case, for you to register, if that's the case, that if this is when you're seeing and you want it, just message me privately and I can connect you with that. But nonetheless, this is a very pivotal time where the full moon is really shining the light on what our patterns is. And I don't want to instill fear in anybody, and this is not to, but we kind of have to get our shit together. Like we actually really need to amp up our self-care. And because, as you know, this year has been quite crazy, and it's going to be a little bit crazier. But the more that we are balanced and connected and being rooted down and doing the inner work, the less we're going to be tossed around in all the chaos that's going on and all the polarized emotions and things that are floating around. And so really take the time to delve in, whatever that looks like for you, the self-care. This is the time. We really need to start taking this serious. At the same time, have fun with it, right? Anyways, there we have it. Happy Halloween. Happy full moon. Happy Samhain. Much love. Again, my name is Corinne Clapham, and take care.